So I came across this particular post that someone made on Facebook some time ago about marriage. So I decided to talk briefly on it. So the poster has said, if your husband marries you traditionally alone and goes ahead to marry his side chick in a cult or in a church, the side chick becomes the legitimate wife and not you, madam. Says who? So before I can take a stand on what this poster has said, it's very important that I take you through to what marriage is, the types of marriage recognized in Nigeria, and the implication of each type of marriage that is recognized in Nigeria. Marriage has no definite definition. Everybody has their own opinion as regards to what marriage is. The Westerners had said that marriage is a union between two persons, a man and a man, or a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman. But in Africa and Nigeria, to be precise, we still believe that a marriage is a union between two opposite sex. We don't believe in same-sex marriage. So in whatever or in your own opinion as regards to what you think marriage is, you should have the understanding that is a union between two opposite sex. The types of marriage that are recognized in Nigeria. In Nigeria, there are three types of marriage recognized. However, some writers say there are two. Do not get confused. They are all saying the same thing. I'll be adopting the three types of marriage that are recognized in Nigeria, which is the customary marriage, the Islamic marriage, and the statutory marriage. The writers that have stated that there are two types of marriage listed it or highlighted it to be customary / Islamic marriage and two, statutory marriage. So you see, they are all saying the same thing. So but I want to make it story so that I can explain it one after the other for us to appreciate it more better. Now, the first I said is customary marriage is a type of marriage that is celebrated in accordance with the laws and customs of the people, which most times is usually the girl's people. You get, if a Yoruba man wants to marry an Igbo woman, the Yoruba man is going to marry the Igbo woman in accordance with the Igbo cultures. The same thing happens if an Igbo man wants to marry a Yoruba woman. The Igbo man is going to marry the Yoruba woman in accordance with the Yoruba customs. The Yoruba man will not marry an Igbo woman in accordance with the Yoruba customs. So that's why I say, which is most times the customs of the people. You get, so it's a marriage that is celebrated in accordance with the laws, in accordance with the marriage that is what is called payment of dowry. Now, without the payment of dowry, there is no marriage. And once this dowry is paid, the lady becomes the legitimate wife of the young man that has paid the dowry. And one thing you need to know about the customary marriage is that it's a marriage between two families. The two families come together to marry. The application of this type of marriage is the man is at liberty to marry as many wives as he wishes. So he can decide to pluck flower in Mazi Okeke's house today, and tomorrow a Mazi Ndeka's house. And this is how he will keep plugging flower in different Mazi's house, because the customary law has given him that right, has given him the liberty to do so. The next type of marriage that we have is the Islamic marriage. The Islamic marriage is a type of marriage that is celebrated in accordance with the Islamic laws. This type of marriage is similar with that of the customary marriage, and that is why some writers bring it together. They say customary / Islamic. There is also a payment of dowry, and once the dowry is paid, the woman becomes the legitimate wife of the young man that has paid the dowry. And the implication again is that the man is at liberty to marry as many wives as he wishes. So if the young man decides to pluck flower from Alhaji Abubakar's house today, he can do so. After that, he can keep plucking flower from different Alhaji's house. Why? Okay, because the Islamic law has given him the liberty to do so. You can marry as many wives as you want, so long as you can take care of them. The next type of marriage that we have is the statutory marriage. Statutory marriage is a union for life of one man, one woman, to the exclusion of all others, till death do them part or till divorce. This type of marriage is monogamous in nature, it's not polygamous. So if you're going to contract or you're going to celebrate this type of marriage, you are indirectly saying is that you have nothing to do with a second wife, third wife, fourth wife. In fact, after you must have plucked flower from this man's house, you are not plugging any flower again. You die here. That is this type of marriage. The implication of this type of marriage is that none of you is at liberty to marry as many wives or husbands as you want. Once you've contracted this type of marriage, what you are saying is me and you till we die. Abi, how did they talk am again? I don't forget to say now we die here, like only the both of you. You are not going to marry a second wife, no third wife, no fourth wife, no 100th wife. In fact, you will pluck flower from just one man's house, and that is it. If you contract this type of marriage, that is what you are indirectly. So, having understood what marriage is, the types of marriage recognized in Nigeria, and the implication of each type of marriage recognized in Nigeria, now let's address what Mr. Poster had said. Mr. Poster has stated that if a man marries you traditionally alone and goes ahead to marry his side chick, that is, if a man contracted only customary marriage and goes ahead to marry his side chick, like I said, the implication of being customary married alone is that the man is at liberty to marry as many wives as he wishes because the customary law permits him to do so. There is no problem with that. But where I have problem with what Mr. Poster has said is where the marriage is gonna take place. You get? He said if your husband marries you traditionally alone and goes ahead to marry his side chick in a court or in a church, let's look at which court. We do not celebrate marriage in court. I know, yes, court marriage. Most persons, when they hear court marriage, they think that the marriage is being celebrated in court. First thing, there is no such thing as court marriage. Anyways, marriages are celebrated in the marriage registry. You can celebrate yours in a church. It's not celebrated in a court. I can remember those days when I was still in primary school. When I was still in secondary school, a friend of mine told me that his parents contracted a court marriage and it was the church that joined them together. That in fact, if they dare separate, that they are going to die. Hey! And that was what I had in my head. It's good to learn, relearn, and unlearn. I had to unlearn that nonsense. Immediately, I stepped my foot into Faculty of Law, Abia State University. So I know some of us are carrying that mentality. Judge is not joining anybody. In fact, that marriage is not celebrated in a court. I don't know why people call it court marriage. The correct pronunciation is a registry marriage. You can call it English marriage, statutory marriage, or marriage under the Act. It's not a court marriage. So let's move forward. Now he said that in a court, a man cannot contract a statutory marriage. I don't know if you are getting me. Remember, I said statutory marriage is a union between one man, one woman, to the exclusion of all others. So this man already has a first wife. So he cannot contract a statutory marriage with a second wife, with a third wife, with a fourth wife, or even with a first wife when there is second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Remember, one of the requirements when you want to contract a statutory marriage, they're going to ask you, there are forms that you're going to fill that might ask if you are a bachelor, if you are a spinster, and you're going to fill all that. And while feeling that, you understand that this type of marriage is strictly for persons that are single to stupor. If you are married, it's going to be that you and your partner, you have been customarily married. And since then that you have been customarily married, there is no other wife and there was no other husband. That is the things that you are going to show, you have to prove. So if you want to contract this type of marriage and you are saying that you are a widower, you have to also prove that you are a widower. If you are saying that you are a divorcee, you also have to prove that you are a divorcee. If you are saying that you are a widow, you also prove that you are a widow. This to tell you that this type of marriage is strictly one man, one woman, to the exclusion of all others, till death do both of you part, or till divorce. So you're not going to marry another person until you divorce this one, or until God decides to take him or her. You understand? So that is it. And I know that yes, you might say that the person can lie and say, I'm not married, whereas that is a second wife or something. Where he succeeds in marrying the so-called side chick statutorily, that is in a marriage registry or church, that is statutory marriage. The law is saying that such marriage will be void. Section 33 of the Marriage Act provides that where a man is married under the customary law with one woman and subsequently marries another different woman under the Marriage Act, the second marriage is void. And I presume you know what void means. That is invalid, empty. That is the reason is because the man is married under the customary law. And it's only the customary law that gave you the right to be polygamous in nature. Statutory marriage did not give you that right to be polygamous in nature. It only gave you the right of being monogamous in nature. You get? But the case will be different if that man was marrying his first wife statutorily. As a husband and wife that contracted only the customary kind of marriage. After
some years of being married,
you can decide to contract the statutory marriage. The law permits you to do so. Why? Because some people have been married
for some time, and within the period of the marriage,
there was no second wife, third wife, fourth wife, fifth wife. You people were in a monogamous kind of marriage and not a polygamous kind of marriage. You can contract the statutory marriage. But if you people have been married for 10 years and within that 10 years, that man went to different man's house to pluck different flowers, you cannot do it. Because doing it will be conflicting with the definition of what a statutory marriage is all about. I am Michelle Ezine Akiriga, and guess what? If you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly hit on the red button that says subscribe to subscribe to my channel. And beside that red button, there is a bell icon there. Click on it. This enables you to get notifications whenever I upload new videos. And to my returning subscribers, you are the best. Thank you for always coming back to watch my video. To my first time subscribers, please kindly comment I have subscribed so that I can give you a virtual hug. And do not forget to tell somebody to like, share, and subscribe. See you on my next video.